I don't know how to say this in a nice way, and I don't really have to. Inside Edition and Entertainment Tonight are my mortal enemies. They're boomer rage bait for boomers who don't use Facebook. It's just the most frustrating thing. My personal 9/11 is the Taylor Swift doing anything. And that is like a big, like, I feel like I will explain my feelings towards White Woman of the Year every year, Taylor Swift. But there is something truly frustrating about acknowledging that something isn't for you and knowing, and I don't even think Taylor Swift isn't for me. I actually really enjoy Taylor Swift's music. But there is a sect of people who cannot understand other people. Like, there's just like an empathy gap that somehow gets smushed back to like boys versus girls, and it just... So, there are so many things happening right now. This is a flash bomb of a sentence, but like, Taylor Swift doing anything is somehow a newsworthy event. Because we live in an SEO, follow this interest, notification style era right now. So, anyone who wants to get something on the front page of anything is trying to push an SEO about what is trending, what's going to get you trending. Currently, the biggest thing is Taylor Swift. So, Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce, PR or not, is now the biggest draw of the zeitgeist currently for a certain type of person. See, people who like football, people who like Taylor Swift, and the people of Kansas City, sadly. My true enemy in this video is Entertainment Tonight, but Taylor Swift makes it so hard. Like, do you know how bad something has to be for me to be defending that white woman? I'm sick of it. I don't think I should have to defend a billionaire. That's all I'm saying. News shows like Entertainment Tonight, Inside Edition, Entertainment Tonight are pop culture boomer fuel. A show that gives the most surface level takes about everything. And it's not like it's a 30-minute like pop culture news cap show that gets its basis from the 90s, but is a dying format that is kept alive by syndication and broadcast deals. A show that when you couldn't get your celebrity news from anywhere but the TV was useful. But now they're like, we're not just paparazzis. We do the news and like things you care about. And so you end up with this news show that's covering the top stories from the news in the most surface centrist way possible. You've got the top trending TikTok trend that they're talking about, and then celebrity news. All covered in the most surface layer, I'm saying annoying way possible, giving the most lukewarm take and just absolutely setting up. It's kind of the libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok is to anyone who's not a fucking goblin, and is to Entertainment Tonight young people and women. Focusing on, like, it's a news show that when discussing pop culture and celebrity focuses more on who's in the courtroom instead of why we're there. Covering the Trump indictment, the fraud campaign currently that's being filmed in October, and focusing on how Trump was in the room staring at people, and not the fact that he's being indicted on 50 billion charges and might have to leave New York. No, we gotta focus on that. Like, so surface level. We have the woman is always in the wrong in the divorce. Currently, a couple weeks ago, they were talking about Kevin Costner and his wife. Now, I know too much about these people, because I'm 25 years old and chronically online. But like, I think making an opinion, forming an opinion with like the most like uncharitable reading of a situation is harmful for those involved. It does not matter what I know about these people, but like if I'm going to know, I want to know the correct information. I don't want to just hear some fucking news show like Entertainment Tonight say Kevin Costner's wife is says that the children live on a champagne diet and you can't expect them to live off of this money, and then say, look at how, effectively go, look at this, and then you hear someone go, look at how greedy she is. She's a gold digger. When in reality, Kevin Costner marries this woman in the 90s and then is like, you're not going to work until the kids are old enough. I want my kids to have this certain lifestyle. And then you say, I'm leaving you. You say, I'm leaving you, and you say, okay, well, we're gonna split. Well, you can't just say that. We're gonna split everything. Because I don't have anything, not because I didn't want to have something, not because I didn't want to work, but because you told me. I trusted you as my spouse, but now that you're not my spouse, you have decided that you're not gonna hold your vows. That's fucked. And to not have that background, you can easily say, look at this gold digging bitch. Women in Hollywood, women are the worst. That's a shit take. The entire Amber Heard trial was truly and deeply just a gross experience for me on so many levels as a person who is empathetic. Oh my god, it's believe all women until the man is hot, I guess. He was on my poster when I was 10. How can he be evil? You don't know these people. You don't. Oh my goodness. The next pillar of things they cover is TikTok trends. Talked about in the most 20-minute Google search, and I'm saying 20 minutes, it might even be they looked at the TikTok and then had an intern write a story. This example is from the episode a couple weeks ago where there was like, the women are concerned about undercooking their chicken, and they show this woman who's making a TikTok where she's cooking her chicken. She goes, have you ever been concerned that you didn't cook your chicken to the right temperature? I mean, what if I get salmonella? And like a whole bunch of other women were like, oh my god, yeah girl, if I ever get salmonella, that sucks. And like, as a person who cooks, like, I will accidentally overcook my chicken because I don't want to get salmonella. Like, I'm sorry, that's a reasonable fear. And then my beloved boomer is sitting there going, I've been cooking chicken for the last 30 years. And I have never thought if I was going to undercook my chicken. Yeah, I know, because he's given me undercooked chicken before. That shit's still pink, sir. You can't, it's not an unreasonable fear. And then judging people for being concerned about it, it effectively leads to women dumb. Young people are stupid because they haven't lived as long as I've lived. Like, do you hear yourself? And I blame Entertainment Tonight because my dad wouldn't have even had that thought because he doesn't even interact with these people. Oh my god, the reason we're watching Entertainment Tonight is because the local news in my town has one channel that comes on at 4, and then the rest of the news comes on at 5. And so we watch the 4 o'clock, and then Entertainment Inside Edition comes on, and then we watch the next section of the news. I have had to institute a polite ask that we not spend that half an hour doing that, because Inside Edition Entertainment Tonight makes me so mad. Inside Edition Entertainment Tonight makes me more mad than TMZ, because I at least know, and we all culturally know, that TMZ are scumbag. They know you're dead before you know you're dead. But at least we all acknowledge that. Inside Edition is benign bullshit. It's poisoning our elderly. It's the lead poisoning of media. Not only does Entertainment Tonight Inside Edition remove the context of community around why certain things happen on TikTok and why things occur, there's just an inherent understanding of how things work on the internet that is lost to a generation of people who do not use the internet that way. And it just pushes the idea, instead of it being a relatable kind of situation, and if you don't struggle with undercooking your chicken, congratulations, whatever, you can scroll past. But if it's a fucking 5-minute part of a newscast, you're bound to develop an opinion because you're like, look at them, they're all concerned about nothing, and they bring in an expert about cooking chicken, and they're like, if you cook your chicken to a certain temperature, how many people have thermometers. And who wants to waste something you're gonna have to wash on a thermometer? Young people dumb, woman dumb. I'm so sick of it. Back to Taylor Swift. So today's news, this was, I believe on the 4th, was covering yesterday's Chief Jets, where the player's girlfriend, Taylor Swift, was in attendance. Inside Edition has me defending finna be in the pit behavior, which I hate. Entertainment while covering the Taylor Swift at the Chiefs game includes a TikTok of this woman saying that she has no clue what's going on and she's just there because Taylor Swift is there and she might get a chance to see her. And of course, this leads into woman dumb because don't you know it is a football? A real fan could be at that game. You know who could also be at that game? A baby. A 7-year-old who has no clue what's going on. It's all about the vibes. Is football about community and brotherhood or not? Or is it not about brotherhood once a woman's involved? They play this TikTok completely straight without the idea, removing the idea that women can't make jokes, that there can't be sarcasm. You don't know that woman. You don't. You didn't interview her. You didn't talk to her. She's just a girl with a sign, and we're making a TikTok, and you're making all these judgments, and you're opening her up to being discussed. It's kind of like when there's a TikTok that is someone might have a bad take. Someone I follow might have a bad take or something on TikTok, and I just scroll away because I have common sense and a fully formed frontal cortex. And yet there are people who decide to bring that bad take to Twitter and then open up that person to an audience of people who do not know them, their community, and they can't defend themselves because it's not it's not even their tweet, it's someone else's tweet talking about them. You are opening these people up to harassment, and you're saying, well, if you put it out on the internet, if you have a community like 2,000 people, that is way different than being someone who is being displayed to be generous 20, 15,000 people in a time on these kinds of shows. It's really icky. It's super icky. Again, it also plays on the misogynist idea that women just can never make jokes because we're just too dumb that it could be a joke. But I don't know that, and you don't know that. Because Entertainment Tonight doesn't talk to this one. They don't reach out to her. It's just whatever. We are also women going to football games that might not have already gone to a football game before, completely forgets the tradition of men and boys clubbiness of football and a refusal to explain what is actually going on in football. Explaining in a way that isn't clear. I truly believe, because they don't actually know what the fuck is going on, that there are people who you explain to them what a first down is and they're like, what? I posted them on Twitter, and I don't think I did it on TikTok, but I last year did like a primer, like, you know, the NFL for hot girls. Even before basketball for hotties, I became aware of her because I don't know how long she's been doing it. But like, I posted something along those lines explaining the basics of football because I love football and I would love to have more girls and gays and theys and other people that aren't rude men to talk about football with. But of course, I don't get that. Because there are people in my life who would rather not explain something and yell about it than actually explain it. However, football, they explain it in a way that's not clear so that they don't understand and they're frustrated, and then they're like, why are you yelling? Or they root for the wrong team, and it's like, get a grip. If I'm only allowed to root for the team that the rest of the house isn't rooting for because I know about football, that's exclusionary. What is football even about? It's about camaraderie and brotherhood and 11 dudes on one side of the ball, 52 total, all working together to make something happen, and you don't want to share that with your girlfriend because you want to be with the boys, you want it to be boys' time? You're gross. Date people you actually like, or set boundaries. My most not like other girls trait is that I have been following football since I was 10, and that my hyperfixation from ages 12 to 15 was football. And so I would, during like the week between like the last of the playoffs and the Super Bowl, that's like 2 weeks, sometimes 3, I would watch old football stuff. So I don't know stats about players particularly, but I know a lot of stats about teams. Again, this is from when I was 12 to 15, so most of my information is like 10 years old, but I also still watch football, so I know about some of the more modern stuff. But like, I know a lot about football. I just like football. I think the history and how it intertwines with American history and the changes to how like we view health. Like I wrote a paper about CTE, but we don't call it CTE anymore. Even in the like 10 years, like 7 to 10 years since I wrote that paper, we now call it a TB, a traumatic brain injury. There's so much interesting shit about it. The racial component. There are very few black quarterbacks and very few black coaches, but we have a lot of black bodies that are the big, broody people that you don't think of as skill players. There's interest to be had in there. However, they don't want you to think about that. They don't want you. Knowing all these things about football did not make the men in my life want to talk to me about football. They just didn't. I was pretty girl. I would literally, like, my uncle said an incorrect fact about football. I corrected him. He just looked at me and went, "Sure, Megan." Sir, you're wrong, and you're loud, wrong, and incorrect. You're very frustrating. There's this layer of, like, women dumb. Women are only interested in the NFL because of Taylor Swift. No, boo, you've ruined that for them. Also, part of my point is that I'm now seeing a large amount of women explaining sports in clearer terms. 'Cause I'm not even saying they're explaining it, like, for women, because that would make it seem like a first down is when you start here, but there's a sail, girl football. No, they're explaining football. They're just explaining it step by step instead of trying to give them the whole soup at once. So when I wrote this was while Entertainment Tonight was on. So this is at like 4:30. By the time this has happened, I have seen something that was so gross to me. It was so insulting. So we have these men on social media complaining about girls Taylor Swifting about football. They're making Taylor Swift into football. It's deep misogyny. Like, it's so, the hate women just because they're interested in football because their favorite pop star is involved in something. Like, chill. These men are making these posts where they're like, Taylor Swift she's using Travis Kelce. Why? She is worth, like, 3 times as much as he is. This is a PR relationship between Taylor and the NFL. Because the NFL has an image problem. That the previous 3 Monday night games, we had, or I guess the previous 4, we had the Damar Hamlin injury. Week 1, Aaron Rodgers busts his own body open. Week 2, Nick Chubb snaps his leg back. I don't think anything happened on week 4. But, like, we have an injury problem. When the thing that is synonymous with the NFL in these more genteel times is pure unbridled violence and body breaking, you have an image problem. So now the image can be, oh my god, Swifties, friendship bracelets, Travis Kelce, isn't he the sweetest, softest guy? He's never punched a woman. We have an image problem on the NFL, and they don't want to acknowledge it. Instead of, you know, not letting abusers stay on these, make millions and billions of dollars, they're like, what if we just slapped a Taylor Swift sticker on it? What if we said Eras Tour? Like, that's ridiculous. But these men are just, like, going at it. And of course, there's, like, not like other girls, but we're not going to talk about them. This is a man issue. This is particularly, like, white dudes being annoying. I don't have it in this script because I hadn't seen it when it happened. But there's this clip that I recorded, and I will put it in here.
You know what? All right, I'll say this. If Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift release a sex video, I'll consummate this relationship and be like, fine. You guys can have sex. You can be boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't buy it until I see some dick in vagina.
Do you think is she?
I'm saying that right now.
Is she pregnant?
P&V.
I haven't seen her drinking at these games. I saw her drinking some juice.
P&V. Otherwise, it's not really
drinking some juice.
Should we demand it?
I want to see.
I want to see P&V. I want to see insertion.
I want to see P and A.
P&A or P&V or P&M.
Yeah,
I'll take P&M.
P&M's good.
I'll take P. I'll even take H on P.
Hand?
Yeah, I'll take a hand job.
Yeah,
I'll see a hand job. That's fine. Give us a Lauren Bobbitt. Is that her name?
Boebert. Yeah.
Give us a Lauren Boebert, and I will be like, you know what? These two lovebirds, they can't get their hands off each other. It's fine. Until that happens, I think it's fake, and I think it's for clicks, and I think Taylor Swift is using the NFL to try to make her star bigger.
I would see some TF.
I would see some TF.
I would see TF.
Max.
From fucking Big Cat Barstools, you're a grown man going by Big Cat, where he's like, I don't believe it's a real relationship. I think it's a PR relationship. I'm not going to believe it's a real relationship until I see P in V. Are you fucking 12? I won't believe the relationship's real until they release a sex tape. That's harassment. That's gross. And then one guy is like, she wasn't drinking any wine. Is she pregnant? They've been dating for like 2.5 seconds. If she didn't get pregnant by any of those other schmoes, she wasn't certainly gonna get pregnant by fucking brain dead McSmeagol. And I love Travis Kelce. I'm a big fan of football. But it's so gross. And the idea that Entertainment Tonight and the general consensus seems to fucking be women dumb, women enjoy a dumb thing, that they are enjoying in a way that I don't enjoy it, so it's dumb. It makes me feral. That I am defending finna be in the pit behavior from women making jokes where they're like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just here because Taylor Swift's here. I think that's dumb and annoying too. I think the intro into Monday or Sunday night's game with Kevin Carson Kressley, Kevin, it's from fucking Replay True Request Live man being like, explaining the beef between two teams that really don't even have beef with Taylor Swift lyrics was cringe. But I'm not gonna complain about that like that on the internet because I've got some goddamn sense and I can understand that this is a net good for the sport that I love. Oh my god, white men are annoying. Goodbye.